Hey guys, my name is Steph and I'm here for another video. I'm super excited about this one because it is the part 2 of the ammo testing. I've tested a whole bunch as you saw in part 1, and I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping there, but I'll come back to that in just a moment. And I'm super excited to be testing these ones. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I also have 2 additional ones that two of my buddies were able to give me for me to test them. I don't have the boxes here, so I'll have to superimpose the graphics on the front here just because I don't have those boxes yet. But before we get to that, I do want to share a couple things with you. One is just a housekeeping thing. What I found is that when I did the conventional method of measuring groups, which would mean that let's say if this is your group, you measure the very outside edge of the dark to the very outside edge of the dark, and you minus the bullet diameter, which will give you a perfect center to center, and that will give you your perfect center to center. And that's what I did for the first method. What I found was very interesting, and somebody put it in the comments, and I think I lost 2 or 3 days of sleep just because I am like a bit OCD, and sharing misinformation would absolutely, I don't want to do that. I want to be as transparent as possible. So because some of them would show as closer to a 0.223, some of them would show up as if you actually just measured the one single bullet, would be closer to a 0.18 or like a 0.16 or something like that, which gave false numbers. It made that, you can imagine, it made the group, the numbers tighter than they actually were. And I don't want to give any misinformation. So from here forward, so I went and remeasured all the group with the tactic of just putting my calipers right center to center of the largest from the furthest distant bullets, right? And that was as close as I can make it. Now, it didn't change the order of this like I did last time. It didn't change them at all. They're exactly the same, but the numbers on the top will change. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move forward. That was just a little bit of housekeeping. So as we move on, you're going to see the correct numbers as close as I could measure them. Okay. So it still means that the Ely team is in the lead so far. The gold medal match is in second place, which they don't make this ammo anymore. And the Lapua minus plus is next up. Now, I could not get my hands on any Center X yet. I'm very excited about that. But this is kind of the order that we're at right now. And you see a whole bunch of holes that are missing that we're going to be filling in the gaps. And I'll save the very best for last because there is something that took the lead on this one. And so I'm super excited. So let's just dive right into it. So the first one we're going to be going with, I wonder if I should just keep them totally random. Let's just keep these. I don't know. We'll see. Let's start with this one. Let's start with the Ely Pistol Ely Pistol Plus. Now, this one performed really not good out of my gun. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just the bullet. Maybe it's the lot number. But this one takes definitely second last. So a 0.63 and a 0.97. It was really brutal. And so I'll just go over how I did every single time. For every single bullet, I did 10 warm-up shots. These are all shot at 50 yards. And I shot 2 5-shot groups. Now, I'm keeping them all the same. Okay? So I go and I kept all the Ely ammos together so that it shoots a very similar lubricant on the bullet. I only gave it 10 shots and I gave 2 5-shot groups. Now, if you don't think that's enough, shoot your own. This is just an overview. This is just to kind of set the pace. If it can't pull off, like in the best of the best, if it can't pull off in a 5 or 10 shot group warm up to be able to shoot those tight, if it needs 50 rounds to warm up, it's useless to me. I don't like it. So that's why I kept them all the same and I treated every bullet equally. So for this first one, Ely Pistol Plus, really not impressed about this one. In fact, there's a couple of them that are really surprising that I was heartbroken. And then once one of them shot really, really well, I was like, oh yeah, fully redeemed myself. I was like, what's the point of a part 2 ammo testing if they don't perform? So this one was really quite terrible, but we'll move on to the next. So the next one in this gap here that we're going to have is actually the big brother of the one that I really like, which is this semi-auto Benchrest Outlaw. Now the bigger brother. Oop, I grabbed the wrong ammo box. Oop. The bigger brother, the more precise one, should be the semi-auto Benchrest Precision. Now, for some reason, this lot of ammunition, now I shot it only very few times, so I didn't really give it a whole lot to work with, but it shot a .53 and a .53, quite consistent. It could probably get a little bit better than that, but again, it was quite disappointing to me. So it takes an average of a .53, which throws it up into the next lineup here. I guess I'm going in order at this point. So the next up, yeah, that was very disappointing. But this one, that precision one that I just went through, is about as expensive as these as the Elite Team. In fact, it's right around that same price. So the fact that it didn't perform means I'll never buy it again. I bought 2 boxes of it. I wanted to try it. I thought it was going to be better than the Benchrest Outlaw, but for some reason my gun loves the Outlaw, or maybe it's that certain lot type. But I've gone through 2 lots of this semi-auto Benchrest, and my gun loves both of them. Okay, I'm gonna grab this box down here, and let's move on to the next. So the next one that I'm going to be showing you, this was so disappointing. I wanted this one to do so good, but it is the Elite 10X Biathlon. Now this one has a little bit, I'm guessing it's a bit of a slower lubricant. It does say lubricated for use to -20. Now I'm up in Canada and we can get much colder than -20 Celsius, but nevertheless, this one, for some reason, it didn't perform. I was rooting for this thing so bad, but it shot a .5 and a .54. So it gives it a .52 as well. I believe they're exactly the same from the .53 to .52. So it is a little bit better. But again, the Aguila is better, is up ahead of it. And yeah, it's very disappointing. At this point, I'm like, is this my gun? Is it my gun? And it wasn't. But I do want to do some more groups with it. And remember, at these top ones, these top select few that we're going to have at the top, I do want to stretch them out to 75, 100, 200 yards at some point down the road. But we're just at the beginning stages here. We're very much at the beginning stages. So next up on the list. Okay, this was interesting. This is the Ely match. Now, because I have the Remington match up here, I did manage to get just a box of the regular match, like I mentioned last time. Now, this one was very interesting. I don't know why it's so far down. I think it's down here somewhere. 0.51. Yeah, somewhere down here. Now, what was very interesting about this one, okay, so it shot a 0.39 and a 0.65, which ends up being a 0.51. Now, I did shoot it a couple more times just because I was absolutely blown away by the fact that it shot that bad. On a different day, I did try a little bit more, just in case you wanted to know. And I shot something like a 0.6, and then I shot 2 groups that were up like a 0.30 and a 0.29. So it shot really, really, really well on a separate day. But again, this match is very much the same exact stuff as the 10X and the Elite Team. It's just they're different tolerance levels, right? If the bullet doesn't hit a certain tolerance level, it moves from I believe the 10X down to the match, and the looser tolerances, the little brother would be the Elite Team. But I'm just going to shoot it for what they are. I'm sure this stuff is fantastic. In fact, most of the MTR videos that I saw other people do on YouTube, this was near the top of the list. This one right here. And this should be the best, one of the best stuff. But it wasn't for me, so let's move on. All right, let's go. Let's keep going. Okay. This was another one. Now, this one's the SK pistol match. Now, I don't have this box over here because it's a buddy of mine. This one shot a 0.50 to me, so a 0.42 and a 0.59. quite consistent. If you look at the 10-shot group, it's actually pretty consistent. There's nothing really magical about this. I'd like to shoot this again just because of how consistent it is. I'm sure I could get those groups much tighter than that. I know that this is another bullet that shot really, really well with other people's MTRs. I was really hoping that this guy would do very well. I'm not a huge fan of the SK ammo. I'm not a huge fan of the lubricant on there, although it's the sister company to Lapua, and I really like Lapua. But I'm for the cheaper ammos, I'm like not willing to be with the lubricants. But it didn't shoot that great. So I don't know what to tell you. It was fine. It was okay, but yeah, it was fine. It was okay. Let's move on to the next one. So we're getting to the upper echelon here. So SK Pistol is down on the second tier. So this one was kind of interesting. This one's called Master Club. I'll pull up the sheet here. I shot a .44 and a .49, giving it a grand total of a .46, which was very interesting. The warm-up was really weird, but it actually shot pretty tight. Now, when I talked to the guy at the store there on what this is, I was asking him if he had any RWS ammo, and he gave me this Master Club, saying their factory does make this ammo. So he says maybe give it a shot, see if you like it. I actually liked it. It was pretty cool. There's not enough indications on this box. I'd have to do a little bit more research on what this Club Master actually is. But for some reason, it actually shot not too bad. So this one will take the ranking of being right here. It actually shot not too bad. The price on it is not too bad either. And so we'll keep going here. The next box that's here that I don't have with me, but a buddy of mine allowed me to try, is the RWS R50. I believe that's what it's called. You'll see the box on the page here anyway. So this one shot a .56 and a .37. Now this was kind of interesting. I didn't mind this stuff. It was not too bad. Shooting a .46 is totally fine. The price on it, I actually don't know the price on it. I'll have to do a little bit of research, and I can maybe do it and put it down here. But it's kind of the mid-range, nothing too fancy, nothing crazy, but it shot pretty good, a .46. And so this one will take this spot in the list, whatever number that is. It's too many to count at this point. And now we get to the exciting part. Now this one just blew my socks off. I couldn't believe how good this went. Now, I have to mention that I don't have any Lapua Center X yet. So that'll be in like part 3. Whenever I can gather more ammo. It gets really expensive when you start gathering ammo like this. But hey, I'm doing it for you guys. So this is good. So this will be fun. But check this out. This is the Lapua Polar Biathlon. Now, this shot amazing. Okay, so I just have to say, when I warmed up, I was warming up with this bullet. Now, at this point in the whole test, I was so discouraged that nothing was shooting well. I thought it was my gun. Like, I totally thought, like, have I lost this? At this point, I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm shooting really well. And then I shot this. So you'll see even this bottom of the warm-up, of the 10-shot warm-up, one of them, I knew I pulled the trigger way too low and premature, and it threw this one off, and that was totally me. Even on the warm-up, I called my shot on that one. So that's 10 shots. And then it shot the first group at a .33, and then the second group is shot at a .26, giving a grand total of .29, meaning that it beats, right now, the elite team. Now, cost-wise, it is extremely similar. It's right around, so let's say if the elite team locally for me in Canada, which is really pricey, would be like $21. This one would be somewhere around 22. It's not local, so I'd have to like order them. But This this one's amazing. I could not believe how good this shot. Now, I have to tell you, that's not the only time I shot it. Now, I only have one box, so I was able to use 20 rounds for the testing. And then I did on a separate day, so this was yesterday, I went back out with some buddy of mine. So I have one buddy who shoots an Anschutz single shot, like his old dad's gun, hair trigger. I have a buddy who shoots an RPR. I have a buddy who shoots an LRP. And I have a buddy who shoots a CZ457 synthetic stock. And I think one of his buddies are buying an MTR now. And so, yeah, anyway, a whole bunch of guys at the range and nobody has the same guns. It's really quite exciting to see. But I was shooting a whole bunch of different ammo. And I said, you know what? Let's just shoot 5 shots. I wanted to see with it shooting a lot of the Ely ammo, jumping over to this stuff, to the Polar Biathlon, just to see, even as a warm-up shot, it should not take that many shots to break it in. And I'll show you the group it shot. It shot a .21. A .21. Now this is all at 50 yards. A .21. And I couldn't believe how tight it was. Now, a buddy of mine shot my gun for the first time. He's a great shooter, fantastic shooter. He shot mine and it probably shot a .3. Yeah, probably at right around at a .3 on that second load. And I just couldn't believe it. And I was like, holy smokes. So then my trusted and true semi-auto Benchrest, which shot really, really well. I did a Know Your Limits target here, and I'll show you what it looks like. It's pretty amazing here, but the Benchrest did not shoot very good that day for some reason. It was shooting high, and I was kind of countering it, and it shot everything at 50 yards, but it dropped that last shot by a mile, a country mile it shot. So I'm starting to lose confidence in that Benchrest semi-auto outlaw, but nevertheless, that's a side issue. So then I shot the Lapua Polar Biathlon, and there was a little bit of wind, and it shot low on a couple shots, but I cleared the target and I felt really good, and everything is tickety-boo, and just everything feels very, very good with this Polar Biathlon. And the Ely team has been dropping a couple shots a little bit wider, and the Polar Biathlon has not been dropping anything. And I'm very excited about it. It is definitely one of those ammos that gets me going despite whatever else is down here. Now, I know some of you have an MTR and you see a bullet that's down here that it's infuriating that it's not shooting well for me, but it's shooting well for you. I know some people just grind your gears, but guys, this is just what shoots good out of my gun with these lots of ammunition. Now you can take this and you can go to a factory and get them to shoot and find the best lot and just pick the best lot all the time. But this is fun to me. To me, this is where the fun is, to see and match them up, push them up against each other, and see what comes out on top. So I just wanted to share that with you with some of the upcoming videos that I'm going to be doing. I just bought a Know Your Limits rack, a metal one from Alberta, and they did a beautiful job on it, and that gets me super excited because at 50 yards I could clear a rack, especially with some of these higher end bullets, and then I will start pushing it to 75, 100, and start pinning them up against each other on a Know Your Limits rack, and just see kind of what comes up next with these videos. So this one was a little bit long-winded, but I hope you enjoyed this. I know there's some Norma TAC 22 or something that I really want to try. The Center X, I want to try a couple more Lapua stuff. I think I've gotten most of the Ely stuff and most of the SK as well that I want to try out, but there's a couple esoteric kind of bullets, some kind of weird stuff that I still want to try. But hopefully it wasn't too long-winded. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I want to be as transparent as I can with you. So if you do have any questions, I do want to respond to you. I like positive questions, or positive comments, but if it's negative, cool, whatever. I mean, service the internet, so we'll deal with what we got. Anyway, we'll see you guys on the next one. Love you guys. See you later. Have a good one. Bye.